our terminology. But what's important, what's truly important, is preserving that core value and passing it on. I spoke 2 nights ago at the 5 Points Club. And it was an hour-long meeting, and there are 20-some members there. A completely different experience, obviously, than what you have here. But at the end of the meeting, the club president rang the bell. And the members of that club stood up, and they started talking. And they talked for 35 minutes in small groups without a single person leaving the room. That is fellowship. That is the experience. That's amazing. And if we're going to take Rotary and make sure that it survives, we have to put that at the forefront of what we sell to the people that come in, the potential customers, the ones that walk in the door and are wondering whether or not they want to stay. I'm not going to go through all 4 of the core values and tell you stories, but I will, when I get to finish the end of my speech, I will talk a little bit about my experience relative to service. But before I do that, before I finish off with that segment and open it up for questions, I'd like to talk for a couple of seconds about the vision that the board currently is supporting for our organization in the context of how we move forward. How we take what is an amazing rock star experience and pass it on to the next generation. We are, quite frankly, in North America today sitting on a burning platform. We have dropped from 420,000 Rotarians in the United States and Canada to 380,000 Rotarians. Now, we haven't seen the figures as of July 1, but that is in a matter of the last 12 to 13 years. And the bottom line is, during that same time frame, the average age of the Rotarians worldwide has gone up in just 5 years by an entire year. Our average age has gone from 57 to 58 in the last 5 years. So we are maintaining membership worldwide through 2 significant steps. One is we're growing significantly in Asia. It's an organization that is attractive, particularly in India. The second thing we've done a wonderful job of is keeping our members alive in the last few years. And so that's why we're aging quite nicely. And I'm not at all wanting us to drop our average age through the opposite happening. So what's the secret in Asia? What do we need to learn from the experience there? One of the things that's happening in Asia and in India in particular is that Rotary has an amazing reputation there. When I became governor in 1996-97, Rotary commissioned a survey of what we consider to be prime candidates for joining Rotary. People between the ages at that point of 35 and 50, people making $100,000 or more, North Americans, and we asked them their perception of Rotary. Now, this is 15 years ago. And they described Rotary, for those that knew Rotary, and the vast majority, of course, didn't know Rotary at all, but those that knew it described it as old, white, male, elitist, and here's the kicker, not relevant. Now, we have done 3 focus group studies since then in 6 different countries, and they are 3 years apart. So we're starting to develop a pattern and a sense of what is happening. And the reputation in North America has not changed significantly over that 15 years from those focus group studies. But in India, the perception has changed significantly. They are aware of what Rotary is at a much higher level than we are. And they know it as very relevant because of one thing. And you can probably name it. Polio. Our efforts in eradicating polio are front and center in that country because the disease is very real. And the efforts of the Rotarians Rotarians there, together with the money that we've put in, have significantly imprinted on the citizens of India that Rotary is a service organization that cares and that makes a difference. And I will tell you that in North America, we're not doing that. What we regularly do, club by club, community by community, is spread ourselves so thin in our service so that we have no identity. I just came from the Minneapolis Rotary Club, and they have a significant size foundation, and they made a significant number of awards. They passed out checks for $50,000 at the club meeting I was at. 22 organizations received the $50,000. Divided up amongst all of those organizations, almost no impact. Now, certainly the money is going to make a difference, but is there an image that's created by that at all? And one of the things that the board believes moving forward to change the image of Rotary is that clubs in particular have to engage in significant projects, what we would classify as signature projects in their communities, so that they become known in their communities for doing good and leaving a mark. How much time I got? Okay. Let's just analyze for a second what the typical experience is for a lot of Rotarians when they walk into a club. Will they get a chance when they walk in the door to experience the core values that are the rock star experiences of our organization? Or will they experience traditions and trappings that might be attractive to my father's generation of Rotarians? I was in a club earlier this week in Longmount, and we won't say which club, but I guess it's obvious if you check. They sang 3 songs. They had a song from the 20s, and they had taken the words from those songs and put them up on a screen. And it's better to look at that than my ugly face up on the screen. But the words had been changed to put Longmount Rotary into the song. And I'm not sure if that is going to be something that is going to attract a 30-year-old to join that club. Tough stuff, I know. But we're on a burning platform, and we run a very real risk that we turn around and clubs that were once at 100 are now at 50, or clubs that are at 50 are at 20. Let me give you statistics on where we stand in terms of membership. 1996, the year I was governor, we were 1.2 million Rotarians in 195 countries, 27,000 Rotary clubs. Today we stand at 1.2 million Rotarians, so we've stayed the same, 15 years. We have 208 countries that we're in and 34,000 Rotary clubs. 27,000 to 34,000 in 15 years. Now, I come from the land of retail sales, where Target and Best Buy have their headquarters. And we regularly hear quarterly reports that talk about same-store sales. How are we doing in Rotary in the context of same-store sales? Not good when we have to start 7,000 new Rotary clubs just to stay the same. Tough issues. The board of directors last year, in the last year and a half, modified the strategic plan for our organization to focus on 3 priorities. And I got to tell you, the number one duty of the board of directors and of Rotary International is to provide value to the clubs. When you pay your dues to us, you ought to get something back in return that's worth at least as much as you're paying in. And I heard a great line on Tuesday night from a young Rotarian in the 5 Points Club, and she said one of her friends was impressed that she was in Rotary and asked her what's involved in becoming a member. And she said to her, this and that, and you have to pay dues.